Mulan is often considered as one of the most empowering Disney animated films ever. So, when Disney announced plans for the release of a live-action adaptation of the original film, fans from all over the world joined forces to share what they believe to be some of the most mind-blowing twists that we can expect from the remake.
The greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter.
Be a man! Because these are some of the most crazy theories about Mulan that change everything. Let's get started.
Dishonor on your whole family!
Mushu and cri-kee are the real heroes. While you were watching the movie for the first time, we're pretty sure that you saw Mulan as the great hero who was able to best the Emperor's forces and eventually force him to bow before her, an act which recognizes that she is a great warrior and someone who is in a league above even the Emperor himself.
And you have saved us all.
Interestingly enough, according to Reddit user Leopocalypse, Mulan might not be the real hero after all. Rather, the movie's revered little creatures, Mushu and cri-kee.
That's it! I make Mulan a war hero!
When you look at it, the two can be seen as the real MVPs in this movie, simply because it's through their actions that Mulan was able to storm the Emperor's palace and eventually gain recognition from him. As you will recall, Mulan and her team were deemed unfit for combat, consequently leading them to be kept away from the battlefield.
Those boys are no more fit to be soldiers than you are to be captain.
Well, this all changed when Mushu and cri-kee forged a letter and submitted it to the relevant authorities, requesting immediate support on the battlefield, that which implied the release of Mulan and her crew to the battlefield.
I think it's time we took this war into our own hands.
And as much as Mulan went on to save the day, we can't forget the fact that when she and her crew arrived at the war zone, it was a virtual wasteland with dead bodies everywhere. For all we know, it's very possible that if she had been on the battlefield earlier, she could have lost her life. It is through Mushu's and cri-kee's delayed requests for help that Mulan's early and untimely death was prevented. That would make the two of them the real heroes, as their quick thinking and strategic timing gave Mulan the window of opportunity that she needed to succeed in her plans. Shang is the first gay Disney prince, and as much as Mulan is known on a deeper level for making some interesting statements about gender equality, when you analyze some of the facts that emerge from the movie, there seems to be a lot of discussion about orientation that may meet the eye. Based on a contribution shared by Tristan Cooper from Dorkly.com, it would seem that Disney was telling us a lot more about Li Shang than we might have initially thought, namely that he was actually a gay prince. Yes, ladies, if you were one of those girls fantasizing over Li Shang when Mulan first came out, we regret to inform you that you might not be his type or preferred flavored tea. It would probably be me. Reason why, you ask? It all has to do with his complex relationship with Mulan. As we know, Mulan disguises herself as a man in order to save her dad from certain death, as he would have been drafted off to war.
Father, you can't go!
Mulan!
In the process, she forcibly fosters a friendship with Li Shang and strives to earn his trust and respect, all with the hopes of rescuing her dad. However, in the process, the viewers bear witness to the two's slow but certain transition from a mere platonic relationship into a budding romantic one, where feelings seem to be running just a little too deep.
From now on, you have my trust.
Granted, one might loosely categorize the two's feelings for each other as strictly stemming from a case of mistaken identity, although you'd be missing out on a much larger overriding statement. Let's remember that Mulan was really Ping, a man. Therefore, their clearly documented courtship was done all with Li Shang's supposition that Mulan was male, meaning that he was courting a man. He fell in love with someone who he believed was a man.
You know how it is when you get those manly urges, and you just gotta kill something.
Therefore, when he found out that Mulan was really a woman, his heart was broken beyond measure. There he was, so close to falling in love with someone, only to find out that not only were the feelings not mutual, the object of his desire wasn't even male. If this revelation does turn out to be true, it would mean that Li Shang is the first ever gay prince featured in a Disney movie, something that is pretty breaking when it comes to Disney animation. Mulan has a deeper purpose to live. As we all know, the film does make some pretty strong statements about traditional gender roles and stereotypes, but do you know to what extent the movie explores these notions, especially through characterization and plot play?
Fa Mulan.
Present.
Speaking without permission?
I know my place. It is time you learned yours.
Well, to help shed some light on such a complex issue, let's take a look at something discussed by Reddit user Condroitin regarding Mulan's character, specifically the notion that she may have a deeper hidden agenda. Unsurprisingly, the theory relates heavily to female empowerment. Remember the song A Girl Worth Fighting For, which was played in the movie? The song speaks about men who all crave a domestic woman. In the movie, Mulan is clearly bothered by the lyrical content of the song, unsure of how to interpret it.
What do we want?
Now, let's flash forward to the scene where, following the destruction of the village, Mulan collects a doll from the rubble. The doll belongs to a girl in the village, something which is confirmed by Shan Yu earlier in the film when he says, "Besides, the little girl will be missing her doll. We should return it to her."
Besides, the little girl will be missing her doll. We should return it to her.
Mulan seems to be fixated by dolls in the movie, because in an earlier scene, a boy, in true mischievous fashion, takes a girl's doll away from her. Mulan, who sees this, is not happy with what the boy did, and takes the doll back from him, returning it to the girl. Having laid out the facts, the mysterious title of the song which perplexed Mulan seems to make a little more sense. What is she fighting for? She's fighting for women, for girls. Mulan is preoccupied how young girls and women are being treated in society. Their innocence is being robbed, and their individuality suppressed by the venom of a society where the focus is on men. The stone dragon died protecting Mulan's dad. Ever wondered why the great stone dragon just suddenly turned to rubble when those who were sleeping in the family shrine woke up? Well, in case you have wondered why, Turtle Stevenson of Reddit thinks that he has solved the mystery behind this act. It all has to do with Fa Zhu and the possibility that the stone dragon actually expended all its energy to save him. Let's start by stating the obvious. Fa Zhu was a warrior known for his brilliance and impressive skills on the battlefield. Still, it's also known that he has a major scar which needs to be treated every day so that it doesn't get worse. With that as our backdrop, let's imagine the following situation. Zhu ended up getting a lifelong scar following a near-death experience on the battlefield, where the great stone dragon mustered up all his strength to save him, sparing Zhu from certain death, but not from the scar. Granted, we know that the great stone dragon doesn't usually take the front line during battle, especially given the fact that this is a universe where a man must live and die by the sword. Therefore, if you were to call the great stone dragon into battle, it would probably mean being scorned by society and looked down upon as a failure.
Dishonor on your whole family.
Based on the events which happened in the film, one can deduce that Zhu, despite his recognition as a great warrior, isn't exactly embraced by society. First things first, Zhu's experience and skills as a warrior were not incorporated into the army. One would think that the army would see him as an asset that needed to be involved in some way, shape, or form, right? Instead, he's relegated to a quiet life as a retiree. Why is that? Could it be that in the heat of battle, he committed an unforgivable act which forever stained his reputation and image in the village? This would all explain why the great stone dragon died. While in battle, Zhu realized that he was going to die. So, in an act of desperation, he called upon the great stone dragon, who sacrificed itself so that he could live on. Fa Zhu's presence would have guaranteed the army's success. Has it ever occurred to you that during the Great Battle, the Chinese army would have much rather had Fa Zhu as part of their ranks and not his son, Peng? Well, Reddit user Wash Zoe Mal definitely seems to think so. Actually, he believes that the army was secretly praying that Fa Zhu would have shown up, as his presence would have surely led to the army's victory. Now, while it's true that Zhu was suffering from an incurable scar which would have incapacitated him during battle, the idea of including Zhu in the army doesn't stem from the need to actually have him fight. Rather, the need to have him as moral support to boost the spirits of the other soldiers. To explain, it's clear that Mulan is the closest thing to a household name that any warrior can come to in the Mulan world. As soon as Mulan announced that she was the son of Fa Zhu, the army officials knew him by name, meaning that his reputation preceded him.
Fa Zhu? The Fa Zhu?
When he was in the army, he was actually stationed in the same unit in which Mulan was placed in, a unit which is known for housing a lot of ill-behaved, difficult-to-manage soldiers.
Say that to my face, you limp noodle!
For this reason, it's easy to believe that the army had actually secretly hoped that Zhu would have returned to the army. His guidance in a supervisory position would have probably upped the morale of the soldiers while simultaneously keeping them in line. This, of course, means that they weren't exactly too thrilled to see Mulan. But hey, at least they still won the battle. Guess she wasn't all that bad after all. But what do you think? Do you think any of these theories check out? Do you have any theories about Mulan that we missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. But most importantly, stay wicked.